If you're hearing this for the first time, buckle up. Because this story isn't just about some spoiled billionaire kids and their poor nannies. It's about the power of patience, love, and how sometimes the most unexpected person can walk into your life and completely change it. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video if it pulls at your heart, and subscribe to our channel for more real, raw, emotional stories that stick with you. Now, let's begin. Elizabeth Wren was a genius in tech but struggled deeply with something most people take for granted: connection. She had everything: 5 mansions, a billion-dollar empire, and 3 kids who had everything money could buy, except a mother who was truly present. Her triplets, Mason, Maddie, and Max, were 7 years old, brilliant, and absolutely out of control. They didn't act out for fun. They acted out because they were hurting. They missed their dad, who had passed away in a private plane crash 2 years ago. Since then, Elizabeth buried herself in work. The children were raised more by staff than their own mother. So when the 12th nanny walked out crying, after being locked in a toy closet for 2 hours by the kids, Elizabeth lost it. She shouted at the head of staff to just find anyone who can keep them alive until Monday. That anyone turned out to be Daniel Carter, a janitor. Single dad. Former Army medic. Quiet, kind, with rough hands and tired eyes. He cleaned the tech headquarters at night and worked side jobs by day. He only took the temporary gig with Elizabeth because he needed extra cash to pay for his daughter's surgery. When he arrived at the estate, the house manager gave him a look that said, "You're not going to last an hour." And maybe he wouldn't have. Because within 10 minutes of stepping inside the nursery, Maddie had painted his pants with nail polish, Max had put glue on his seat, and Mason? Mason just looked at him with cold, distant eyes and said, "You're not going to stay." No one ever does. But Daniel didn't shout. Didn't flinch. He just smiled. "You wanna bet?" And something changed. Not overnight. The first few days were chaos. Daniel got locked out of the house. He got water balloons thrown at him from the rooftop. They played audio recordings of crying babies to wake him up at 2 a.m. But every time, Daniel came back. Calm. Present. Patient. Instead of punishing them, he started talking to them. Listening. He taught Maddie how to draw with charcoal instead of destroying walls with lipstick. He gave Max old computer parts to build robots instead of breaking furniture. And Mason? Daniel taught him how to cook. Said it was like chemistry, but with taste. The staff watched in disbelief. The kids, the monsters, were laughing. Sharing. Hugging him. 3 weeks in, Elizabeth finally noticed. She came home from a late meeting and found her kids asleep peacefully. Mason was curled up on the couch, holding a drawing that said, "Thank you, Mr. Daniel." Something in her chest cracked. The next morning, she asked him to stay. Not as a nanny. As a friend? Guide? She didn't know the word for it. Just stay. Daniel said no. He explained his daughter, Lily, was about to go through surgery in another city. He needed to be there. Elizabeth was silent. Then did something she hadn't done in years. She offered help not as a CEO, but as a mother who had failed. She paid for Lily's surgery. Arranged the best doctors. And asked if, maybe, they could be there for him the way he had been there for her kids. 6 months later, Daniel returned. But not as staff. He became the family's emotional counselor not because of a degree, but because he understood what most therapists missed, that healing takes time, trust, and real presence. Elizabeth changed too. She began working from home. Took parenting classes. Cooked with her kids. Laughed with them. Held them when they cried. One evening, while watching Max and Maddie perform a silly dance for Lily's birthday, Mason climbed up beside her on the couch and whispered, "I'm glad you stayed this time." And for the first time in forever, Elizabeth Wren, billionaire, widow, workaholic, cried. Elizabeth wiped her tears quickly, pretending it was nothing, but Mason saw. He didn't say a word, just reached for her hand and squeezed it. That simple gesture said everything she had waited years to hear: "I forgive you." Life didn't magically become perfect after that, but the house felt warmer. Daniel's daughter, Lily, became like a fourth Wren child. Despite the scar on her chest from the heart surgery, she ran faster than all three triplets combined. She brought a kind of sunshine to the mansion that not even the billion-dollar chandeliers could replicate. And Elizabeth? She started showing up at school plays, not just sitting in the back on her phone, but actually cheering. She once stood up and whistled when Max won a science fair, startling everyone who thought she didn't even know what school he went to. Every week, Daniel would come by, not in a uniform, not as help, but as family. He still cleaned when he saw messes, fixed what needed fixing, but now he did it with laughter echoing in the hallways, usually from Maddie hiding behind corners trying to scare him. One day, the kids got an assignment at school. Write about your hero. Most kids wrote about astronauts or superheroes. But Mason, the same boy who once locked 3 nannies in the pantry, stood at the front of his class and read. My hero is Mr. Daniel. He isn't rich or famous. He doesn't fly or fight bad guys. But he showed up when no one else would. He stayed when everyone else left. He taught me that being strong doesn't mean being tough, it means being kind, even when you're tired. That essay went viral after his teacher posted it online. The video of his speech racked up millions of views in just days. People were moved by the story of a janitor who healed a family with nothing but his heart and his time.